Well, Americans await Washington's next move in passing more federal aid for Americans affected by the coronavirus pandemic, as lawmakers continue to wrestle over whether to go big with the next spending bill. Capitol Hill correspondent Erik Rosales reports now. Erik?
Well, Tracy, I think it's important to remember that Washington has been here before. I think we remember the 2008-2009 financial crisis. Back then, the House and Senate debated on the amount of aid was going to be given. And back then it was the banks that needed help. Well, today it's the small businesses that are looking to Washington, D.C. for help.
The House will be in order.
The House prepares to return this week for a brief session tomorrow and Thursday. On the agenda, a renewal of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, or FISA, giving federal authorities authorization to conduct surveillance of suspected foreign terrorists. Plus, the Uyghur Human Rights Policy Act of 2020 to condemn gross human rights violations in China, and extending the window of time for small businesses to participate in the Paycheck Protection Program, aimed at preserving jobs hurt by the COVID-19 shutdowns. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi notified members last week. Following advice from the attending physician, she would be enacting a 45-day covered period, allowing for the committees to work remotely and for remote voting on the House floor.
It's not just about proxy voting, which we will be prepared for. It's also about how committees can do their work virtually, in person, or in a hybrid way.
Today, the House Oversight Committee held a hearing virtually and in person, exploring the Trump administration's coronavirus response. Ranking member Jim Jordan joined by phone and criticized the Democratic leadership for not requiring members to return to the Hill.
Bring us back to D.C. to conduct meaningful oversight, to hold China accountable for this pandemic, and to start having real hearings in person like we are supposed to in the United States Congress.
House leaders did strike a deal on an amendment to prevent the FBI from collecting Americans' web browsing history without a warrant. That amendment will likely be voted on this week, and it could change the way that the FBI conducts its foreign intelligence investigations. Tracy?
Correspondent Erik Rosales reporting from Capitol Hill. Thank you, Erik.